In today's segment, we're going to be looking at renovation and home staging. Renovation and home staging is an excellent way to improve the value of a property and also the rental yield that can be achieved by a property. To tell us a bit more about this, we're going to be speaking with Sharon and Kate Youngson from Houses to Impress. So Sharon and Kate, thanks for making the time to speak with us today. How about you tell us a bit about yourselves?
Angelo, about 5 years ago, I started renovating homes for profit. I had no experience. I was an admin clerk before I started, so I used to buy rundown properties and transform them in a very short amount of time and then put them back on the market. Because of the success I achieved through doing those renovations, I decided to create a business called Houses to Impress, where I can help clients to get the same results that I did with when they prepared their house for sale or investment properties if they were trying to add value.
Yeah. So Kate, what's your role in all of this?
I've been working for Sharon for some time now, and my background is in building and construction, and I also worked for Freedom Furniture for about 3 years as a homewares manager, where I learnt some great visual merchandising skills, and I was able to help all of our clients put together beautiful room sets with new furniture and soft furnishings. So now I help Sharon and our clients to maximise the sale price of their property through makeovers and home staging.
Okay. Now, as I understand that you've written a book.
Yes, last year I devoted a large amount of time to putting all of my experiences through renovating and home staging into a book so that I could educate the larger amounts of people about home staging, because it's a fairly niche area in Australia and a lot of people haven't heard about it. And I felt that it certainly was an area that people could benefit from knowing more about, to add value when they sell or to existing investment properties that they have. And Kate co-authored the book with me and went through the process with me. So it's finally been released in early 2010 and it's in all good bookstores now.
Great, okay. So why don't you give us an example of some of the stuff you've done?
Probably a recent client's house that we worked with was in a inner city suburb about 7 kilometres from the city, and there probably hadn't been a lot of sales in that particular suburb in the last year, so it was a bit hard to gauge, what the market was going to be doing. And the house was appraised by a real estate agent for $615,000 to $630,000, but realistic they thought it would get about $615,000. So we worked with a client. I actually project managed the changes because it had been a rental property, so the tenants were moving out and the house was going to be completely empty. So obviously the ideal was not to show an empty home. Visually it's not as effective, and when people come in, really all they see is an empty home, and they can't sort of see where their belongings would go, and there's no wow factor to that. So we worked on a few little maintenance issues in the home. There's a little bit of minor cracking and things like that, so we had a maintenance guy in that sort of spent about a day and a half just fixing up a few minor things. Tidied up the garden, put extra mulch in, hired some pot plants to pretty up the outside of the house, and then we actually hired furniture and soft furnishings and decorated the whole home prior to open inspections. It was a short auction campaign, and there was a large amount of people through, probably about 75 groups of people over a 3-week campaign, and a large amount of people turned up for an auction in a time when the auction rates were actually sort of down to about 40%. A couple of months ago, and it's still round about that. And the auction went really well, and it sold at auction for $690,000, which was a really fantastic result.
That's a record.
Yeah, it was a record for that suburb of Manningham. So yeah, the client was obviously very, very pleased with that result.
That's great. That's great.
And the cost of that was only $5,000. So to increase the value of the property by only spending $5,000, and the owner of the property didn't have to do anything except give us the keys and give us the go-ahead. So
that's right. And you really focus on, you're not really focused on the structural elements of the house, really just minor cosmetic changes that can make the big difference.
Absolutely. It's just creating a lifestyle. So potential buyers walk in and see that there's nothing for them to really to do, and that they just fall in love with it and go, oh wow, you know, look what I can do with this space. So,
emotion goes a long way when it comes to raising price.
Absolutely.
It does. I mean, people start out logically when they're buying with a checklist of the things they want. Maybe it's 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom. It needs to be near schools or whatever. But they buy on emotion. So when they walk into something, they think, wow, this is where I want to live.
Yeah.
You know, some of the things that may be on their checklist may not be as important, just as the feeling that people get when they walk into the home. So that's what we do, is create a feeling for people that they can attach to. And like Kate said, people want to just, you know, pack their bags, move right in and not have to do anything. They don't want to have to paint or change anything or fix things up.
Yep, exactly. Hey, why don't you go through a case study that you went through in the book here?
Okay. Let's see. Probably another one that was purely home staging. Now this was an inner city apartment, and it was owned by a bachelor who had lived there for 8 years, and it was a typical bachelor pad, pretty ordinary with furnishings and things
dark
like
and gloomy and no finishing touches.
No, none at all.
No.
So once again, really great client to work with. He basically said, look girls, whatever you want to do, that's fine. So we agreed that we would move his furniture out, everything out, and all that was left was his fridge and his microwave. Yeah. So we got some handymen just to come in and paint. I think one area where the paintwork just needed a little bit of a touch up. It had sort of dark curtains in a lot of the areas, and we got permission from the owner to have them removed, and we organised for new modern panel glides to be put on there just to open up the space and make it look much more contemporary looking. Yep. And then we spent one day moving furniture in and styling each room, and it just went from a room that was the main bedroom, went from looking like a nothing room to looking like it was sort of in a resort. We recommend to the client that he got quite a few appraisals from different real estate agents before he put it on the market. Yep. And he had six real estate agents come in, and they all came in for and appraised the property at $460,000. Once again, it was an auction campaign.
Is this prior or after?
This is prior to us doing anything.
And even once we had put in furniture, the agents still said 460, possibly 470. Right. They didn't think it would increase the value by that much. Okay. Whereas we had higher hopes, and through the research we had done, we thought the property would go for a lot more than that. Yeah. But that's what the agents were saying.
Okay, so what did it go for?
So the first open, there were 20 groups of people through, and I think about within half an hour of the first open, someone put in an offer for $500,000, which the client actually accepted. Yeah. So it never actually went to auction. He accepted that and was totally gobsmacked that he got that offer.
And how much did you spend on that?
With the furniture and the blinds, probably about $4,000.
Okay, so it's not expensive.
No. And again, one day's work pretty much.
And again, he didn't have to do anything except give us the keys and give us the go-ahead. So, yeah, fantastic result.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, you know where this is going now. We've just purchased a property for one of our clients that's just settled.
Yes.
So fantastic. If we could, I'd like you guys to come down and have a look at it and give us some sort of ideas about what we could do with it.
Lovely.
Absolutely, we'd love to.
Yeah, and of course what we've been doing, or the case studies we're talking about, are people that are actually selling their homes, but it works really well with investment properties as well, because you can create that. I mean, people that are renting homes want a nice lifestyle and a nice place to live in, and they're willing to pay for that as well. So if you can improve that amenity for them, they're willing to pay more rent.
Exactly.
And an investment property in reality is a business. You need to be getting the maximum you can out, maximum yield. And, you know, add some extra equity as well, which is an added bonus.
Yeah, that's what our clients are after.
Yeah.
So let's go have a look at the property.
This garden in this property is probably the perfect example of what a rental property should have. It's low care, easy maintenance and low water. I don't recommend any changes at all to it. It's just absolutely perfect. So something to aspire to for other people, that you have pebbles, low care, easy plants, and visually it's easy. It looks good, plus it's easy for tenants to look after as well.
Great.
No mowing.
If you were selling the property though, something from the street view is the house looks a little bit disjointed due to the new granny flat and then the older house. Something to maybe tie it all together is there's a dark chocolate brown that's being used on the property along the guttering. There's a bit of a feature right at the top. We would suggest that that gets painted in like a white or a neutral colour to blend in with the rest of the property, just to make it a bit more uniform and give it a little bit more of a modern touch.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So this is the kitchen.
Yep, the kitchen actually very well set up and designed. It's got built-in oven, microwave, a cooktop and a dishwasher, which is an added bonus. The only recommendation I would make for in this room is obviously to perhaps pull down the lace curtains, which are pretty old and dated, and the blinds, and perhaps just replace with a Venetian blind to make it a bit more modern and contemporary. You could change the knobs on the cupboards, but that's probably more a thing that I would do for sale. As it is, it's pretty good for a rental.
If you were selling this property, what you will notice once we walk through is that it's lacking a lot of roof lighting. So yes, there is this light here, but it's not giving off much light at all, and people need light in a kitchen, especially, I mean, we're in daylight at the moment, but once it gets dark, there won't be much light in this room. This light fitting is, to some people, I think would say a bit of an eyesore and dated, but the retro modern look is actually back in fashion, and if someone wanted to sell that, they'd probably get a good price for it. Also, if you're selling, you might want to look at knocking out this area here. It's very dated with the glass. It's a very personalised look, and I don't think it would take much to open up that archway and make it more an open plan living.
Okay. And this doesn't look like it would be structural either.
No, I mean the walls are brick, but you wouldn't be moving anything, you wouldn't be moving any beams, it'd just be literally taking out the wooden slats in between and the glass.
Just replastering.
Yeah.
That's a pretty simple exercise.
Absolutely.
And probably the other thing for sale would be to replace the front door, because it's pretty ordinary. So for a rental it's fine, but for sale you'd probably have something that had a little bit more wow factor.
Okay. Good.
For an entrance.
Okay, so this here is the lounge room.
Yeah, it's a very bright, airy room, and it's got carpets that are in really good condition. Probably not an ideal colour for a rental property because it'll get dirty easy. Yeah. But you know, it is in good condition. So what I would recommend to the tenants would be that, I guess, that they make sure that it is cleaned regularly to maintain it. And if it gets to a stage where it starts looking a bit grotty and past its use by date, I'd replace it with something that would be more practical, like floating floors or something like that, so it's easier for a tenant to maintain. Carpets really aren't the ideal long term, I don't think, for rental properties, certainly in this colour anyway. Okay, good.
For rental as well, again, this room is lacking lighting. There's only 2 small light fittings on the wall over there and nothing above us, so again, that would definitely need to be looked at and considered. Your window furnishings are great in here. They've got privacy, plus they've got block out for night time, which will keep in the warm. Yeah. Again, there's an old dated light fitting over there, but again, someone that is into the retro modern look these days would be happy to buy that off of them. Yeah. Yeah, but overall this room is fantastic, and for sale, you'd definitely consider painting the wooden panelling and the wooden pelmets. Yeah. It'd just really modernise this room and actually make it look a lot larger. It is a large room already, but it'll make it look even bigger. Okay, what about these? Yes, they would need to go as well if you were selling. A very, very dated look. You could look at putting some nice bifold doors on here to separate the space, or you could look at just removing them and having it all opened up. Yeah. There may not be a reason to have it enclosed, and it could be a personal choice that the potential buyer decides to put on doors. Okay, yeah. Very good. Very good. So this is kind of a second entrance off the side of the house, and for rental it's fine. You could leave this unit that is actually wall mounted, and you would leave the panelling glass, but you would definitely look at replacing this light fitting above us. It's very dated and very personal taste, so we'd definitely look at replacing that. But if you were selling the property, you'd like to replace the glass there just to give it a real nice modern look. Clear or frosted? Frosted for privacy. And you'd look at removing this as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously repainting the wall afterwards.
Sure.
Yeah.